All right. So, welcome to the Louisville Urban League CIT 105 Intro to Computers class with Professor Sherry Jacob and tutor Troy Rice. Troy will be your dedicated tutor for the class, and I'm going to basically start from scratch and show you how to get from email into Blackboard and then into our class. So when you first get on your computer, you're going to go to mypath.kctcs.edu. Now, this link was provided to you in KCTCS in the email that I sent to you. So you should have received an email from me saying, okay, this is how you want to log in. There is a link that was provided that gives you a link to our class session on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 a.m. Okay, so when you log into MyPath, you will see at the very top these little squares. These are called tiles. And so you will have one that will say Blackboard Learn. That is where we actually go into our course. Email, of course, is something that everyone has. So when you first initially got or filled out that application, they should have given you some information on how to set up your student email account. All right. So I'm just going to click on email so that you can see the message that was sent to everyone in your class at around 12 a.m. All right. So let me close here.
Hey, that ain't the right ID.
All right. So you should have gotten an email that basically, let me make sure, that welcomed you to the class. Now, I sent the welcome email not only for those who actually were able to successfully set up their KCTCS email address, but I also sent it to your private emails, okay, for those who hadn't yet got there. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
So you have my welcome. Okay. And I do recommend that you get a 5-subject notebook, okay, for the class.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Very
ma'am.
important so that you can take notes. Okay.
Am I
Um,
in there? I'm in.
and so when you sign up for email, or sorry, not when you sign up for email, when you get onto this email, you'll get more information about how to check the class syllabus, how to get onto MyPath, how to check your email. Okay, all of this sort of an introduction to. Now, if Blackboard ever or MyPath ever goes down, then I also provided you with the link directly to Blackboard. Okay, so MyPath can go down from time to time. If it does, you do have a link directly into Blackboard. Okay, and again, there's that live virtual class link. So every Tuesday and Thursday between 10 and 11:15, you just click on that link and that will get you into our class. Okay, so that is the email that you should have received um, from me at 12 o'clock, okay, earlier this morning. All right, any questions so far? Anything that I can clarify for you? Now, for those of you that have signed into your KCTCS student email account, you should also have access to the chat feature. So let's say, for instance, on this particular class session, if you had a question and you didn't want necessarily to come on microphone, you could, in fact, use the little button that looks like a call out balloon, and it has little lines on it, and actually uh, begin to type in the chat. Okay, so I'm going to share my Microsoft Teams window so that you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. Okay. So on Microsoft Teams, and this is how I'm conducting this meeting. When you get into Microsoft Teams, you'll see little icons. One looks like a couple of people. That is the Show Participants button that shows you everyone that's in the meeting. The next button is the chat or the Show Conversation. So if I click on that little button, you'll see Meeting Chat, and where Troy has provided for us his office hours, times that he'll be on to help you. And Troy, do you want to speak to, when you will be available for students and how? Yeah, he may have stepped away. Okay, so it looks like Troy is going to be available on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 8 p.m. to 9:30. And I'll show you momentarily how you would get in touch with him through Blackboard. He also is going to give you his email address and his phone number. And that way, if you have any issues, you need help, getting into Blackboard or completing an assignment, you're confused on something, he can help you with that. All right. So this is what the meeting chat would look like. Troy, are you there? I saw, look, I couldn't hear you, but I saw you waving at me. Um, so he may be having some microphone issues. Troy, just let me know when you're ready. Can't hear you. Okay, so if you could just provide for the students your number and your email address in the chat, and that way they'll have that. And I'll also make an announcement in the class so that it automatically goes to email for all students enrolled in the class. Okay, like we can see you, but we can't hear you. So let's see if it's something that I did. No, I didn't do anything. So just make sure your microphone is on. It looks like it's on, but you're having, yeah. So if you could just type it into the chat, your telephone number and email, that'll be helpful for everyone. Okay, but this is how you would see the chat. Okay, when we get into meetings, just click on that little call out balloon that has little lines in it. Now, if you have any questions, of course, there's a little smiley face with a hand, and this is how you can, show your reactions to things. So if you have a question, of course, you can click on that raise hand button. Okay. If you find something that's amusing, of course, you can click on that little laugh. It's just, different little emojis that you can use there. Okay. Now, in a moment, we're going to go into breakout rooms. Okay. And what I would like for you to do is I would like for you to introduce yourself in a small group setting with a couple of people. And, so you can feel a little bit more at ease. about being in the class. And then you'll be able to introduce yourself to the entire class through a tool that we're going to use for the semester called VoiceThread. Okay, so I won't embarrass you and make you introduce yourself, um, you know, because that used to terrify me when I was an undergrad. So I completely understand. All right. So here on screen here is the little camera icon that I was telling you about. So if I was to click on this camera icon, you would not be able to see me on camera. Okay. Now, if you're not on camera, you don't see yourself on camera here, you probably have a line through this little camera button. So right now I'm seeing Marlene. Okay, great. You got on. Janice, Casey, Shanae, and Carrie. So I don't see Troy. I know that TR is Troy and whoever else this is. It's not telling me right off until I go to the participants who it is. But you kind of see how you can navigate on Microsoft Teams. Okay. Now the benefit of using Microsoft Teams, of course, is this is being used in business today. So you getting sort of a start here is going to make you that much more prepared when you enter the workforce. Okay, because lots of organizations use it. All right. Oh, I see Sheree now. All right. Awesome. Welcome. Um, and then there's a little microphone button. If you're not, you know, if you're not speaking, of course, you're going to see a line through it. And that is, just custom, not just in this meeting space, but every meeting that you want to go to, you want to, make sure that you're on mute until you have a question, um, because it just makes it better for everyone else's experience. Does that make sense? Okay. All righty. So I'm going to close out of this participants list. And again, welcome to everyone. Um, so what we're going to do, let's see, 2, 3. So let's do 2 groups of 3. Okay. And then just get you to introduce yourselves to one another. So you're going to take yourself off of mute, okay, when you get into these breakout rooms, and you're just going to talk to one another. So I'm going to give you about 5 minutes or so, 5 to 6 minutes, 2 minutes each. That should be fine. I don't want anyone to feel super uncomfortable. Okay, so give me a moment to set these up. And you may or may not already know some of the folks that are in the meeting. Okay, so just just be patient. Okay, and just make sure you introduce yourself. Of course, nothing too dramatic. First name, tell what you're looking to do as a career, or what you're already doing as a career. um, what your experience is with using technology, anything like that. Okay, so give me just a moment. Okay, so you're just going to be whisked away to your room, and you're going to be able to speak with your group. So give it just a moment. All right. And who is on the 909-5652 number? I wasn't able to sign you into a room, so just kind of giving you a heads up. Troy, did you ever figure out your microphone? I hear ya. Yeah, that's weird. I hear you. It happens. All right, welcome back. I see folks coming back. Awesome. So anyone want to take themselves off mute and tell me how that experience was for you to go into a breakout room?
Hi, Miss Sherry.
Hi.
It was nice. I got to meet two of my classmates, and I think that this time for this semester is going to be awesome.
Awesome. That's good. Awesome. So thank you, Shanae. Um, anyone else want to say anything about their experience? Marlene?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead.
I also was in Shay's class, so I did get to meet a couple of my classmates, and that was cool. And we related on some levels that I thought was good for me. I believe I'm going to be excited all the way through. I'm looking forward to learning.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm glad that was a good experience. Anyone else? Okay. All righty. So on your screen, you should see my path. Okay. So when you first log in using your KCTCS email, you're going to get to my path. Okay. mypath.kctcs.edu. And that's where you're going to see, you may not actually see these three um, tiles. Um, the tiles that you see will be the ones that you use the most. Okay, so everyone's will be different, but definitely I would say because of the nature of your role with Jefferson Community and Technical College, you'll see the Blackboard Learn because that's you're taking a class, and you'll see email. All right. So how you would get into Blackboard would be, of course, to select this Blackboard Learn little tile or square, and it will take you into our Blackboard. Now, depending upon the class that you have, you could get a different Blackboard experience. We're currently running two different versions of Blackboard, but the one that you're on for this class is called Blackboard Ultra. Okay, and it is the most recent upgrade of Blackboard, but there are a lot of classes at Jefferson that are still on the older version or the original. Okay, so what you would do when you come to Blackboard, you would click on courses. When you click on courses, you should see a little tile with your class name. Of course, right now it's private. I haven't opened it yet. As I mentioned earlier, it will open at noon today. All right. So I'm just going to go into it because, we're doing it, of course, for the recording and for those who could not join us today. So because I left in student preview mode, it brought me back to this in student preview mode. So this is basically what you will see. Okay. Now, I'm going to start in the upper right corner of your Blackboard window and just go through these little icons here. So the first one looks kind of like a book. Okay. And this basically, it has a little purple underline. And this is just basically telling you that this is the page that you're currently on. This is the active page. Whenever you see that little purple little underline under an icon. Okay, so this icon here is for the main course content area, basically where all of your assignments reside. Okay, the next little icon is your calendar. So I'm going to click on calendar there. Now, calendar is, it'll take you a moment to get used to. It's not your everyday run-of-the-mill calendar, right? It goes day by day. Okay, so you can actually choose the days here. The one with the purple circle just mean is today. Okay, but if you wanted to know what was happening tomorrow, if there was anything, you could just simply click on that next day. Okay. Okay, so this is how you see your due dates. These are the due dates that are on there already. As I mentioned earlier, I am not making this available until noon. Of course, it's not going to let me see any due dates in here, but I've already set up some things for the class, but just know that you would click on due dates to actually see those due dates. Okay. The next little button over would be the discussions. So there are going to be several different discussions going on as we go to each content folder. Each content folder has its own discussion tool. So if you have a question and you think that other students in your class would benefit from the answer too, then post it up. Okay. Now, in the discussions area, this is just an area, it's kind of, if you kind of think about it, this is like if you're taking an in-person class and you show up before class starts or you stay a little bit after class is over, that's what the discussions area is. So it's just an area for you to talk with your classmates about your experience. Anything that you have a question on, of course, a lot of people feel comfortable going to their classmates instead of their instructor or even a tutor, and that's fine. So that's what you would use the discussions area for. Okay, so I'm going to click on discussions and you'll be able to see all of the different discussion areas. So they pretty much basically all look exactly alike. The only thing that is different, of course, is the title. Okay, so as we go in each folder, you would use the discussion for that folder. All right. Okay, so the next one would be the grade book. So this is where you will see your grades that you have earned for each of the assignments. Okay, so now all of your assignments are not in here, but the first several weeks of the semester are already there. As I mentioned, I'm getting more assignments added, so this is plenty for you to start with at noon. Okay. The next button over would be your messages. So let's say, for instance, maybe you have a quick question and you want to send me a message or send someone else a message privately. You could use the messages tool. And when you click on messages, there should be like a plus sign for you to send messages. But of course, you can always send me an email as well. So for my path to send an email, you would click on the email little tile and you would click on new message. Okay. New message. Now, when you click on new message, your new message window opens, and in the from field, it's going to have your email address. Okay. So the to field, you would put in who you want to reach out to. Okay. So if I wanted to reach out to Troy, I would simply type in Troy. Okay, and it would come up, basically his email address would come up on my, because I've sent him emails before, it would come up. All right. So Troy, did you share your email with folks in the chat? Okay, I don't see that he did, but I'll make sure you have it. So here is Troy T Rice 0008 at kctcs.edu. So Troy would be T Rice 0008 at kctcs.edu. And your email address is going to look, very similar to that. It's going to be your first initial, your last name, and then 4 digits. Okay. Like we all have an email address like that. So that's Troy's email address. And again, that is your dedicated tutor for the class. Okay. And I forget Troy's number, but I want to try it. Let's see. 230, is it 9016? Oh, he put it in the chat. Awesome. Thank you, Troy. And I did get it correct. 2309016. All right. So, and then you would just basically put in your message here. Okay. Of course, you have to have somebody to send it to. And then I want to suggest that when you are sending email, that you be very specific in the add a subject line. And that's not just for me, it's just etiquette. Okay. Folks who don't add a subject on the subject line on an email will typically not have their emails answered. A lot of people, I know a lot of people professionally, whether it's at Jefferson or other organizations, automatically will delete messages that don't have a subject. Okay. So like for this one, I'm sending it to Troy and I'm giving you his information about him being a dedicated tutor, right? So the subject of it would be tutoring. Okay. You just want the subject of your email to look sort of be a brief overview of what you're talking about in your message. Okay. It doesn't have to be super detailed or anything. Now also on email, you can also tell someone the importance of the email. So you see these little 3 dots or ellipsis. If you click on that and go to set importance, all messages are set to normal. Okay, but you can set it at high, and high just means that you need a response right away. Okay, so that is an option for you. All right, now I'm not going to actually send this to Troy, but you would click on the send button to send your email. Okay, now if you didn't want to send the message and it was just something that you played around with, you could always use the little garbage can, which by default is pretty standard in all applications as the delete. Okay. Button. So I'm just going to click on discard here, and then it confirms with me that I want to actually get rid of the message. Click OK, and it's gone. Okay. Are there any questions about anything that you've seen so far? Everything clear? Okay. Remember, I can't hear you until you take yourself off mute. So if you're talking, we can't hear you. All right. And let's see. See if I covered everything. Let me go back into Blackboard. Just making sure. Now, the folders in Blackboard are labeled by number. Okay, once you get into the course. So that kind of, in my mind, that tells you in what order we're going to go. Okay. So, just take your time and go through that. And I just want to make sure, I'm not for sure if I covered in the main course content area on the left-hand side, you do have a details and actions menu. Now, Troy when he was talking, able to talk earlier, he spoke to meeting you on Blackboard Collaborate. Okay, so your Blackboard Collaborate link is over here in the details and actions menu. So you would simply click on join session and then select course room. All right, and then, you know, Troy would be there. I'm guessing, you know, for his office hours or pretty much anytime. Okay. Um, but again, you can email him, you can call him, either one, or get on Blackboard Collaborate. All right. Now, if there were any announcements for the class, you would see the announcements. There would be a link there that would say view archive. And basically, whenever I add a new message or a new announcement, it's going to automatically go to archive once, you know, it disappears from your screen. So when you first come into the class, the announcement is going to sort of cover up the course content area. Okay, and you actually have to use an X to close that little window. It's a little pop-up window. Okay, so you have to actually close it for it to go away, but you can always get back to the announcement just by going to your details and actions menu. Under announcements, you'll see a little link that says view archive. Okay. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Okay, so let's briefly go through all of these folders. Okay, so of course we have the start here. This is how you're going to get started in the class, learn how to be successful in the class. So it's very important that you don't skip over the start here area, that you go through each document, whether instructional or not, go through each one. Read it, take notes if you need to. Again, you need a 5-subject notebook for this class. Okay. And so number 2, this is where the basics of computing comes, and this is a lot of content. All right. So we're going to spend, of course, all of this week and maybe even part of next week on this area, computing basics. So that covers hardware, software, your Windows 10 operating system, just, you know, a host of different topics, such as your internet browser. By the way, the recommended browser for the class is Google Chrome. Okay, and if you don't have Google Chrome on your computer, you can just simply go to chrome.com, and that's CHROME.com, and you can download it. It's a free download. Okay. For this class, you will also we will talk about the internet. We will talk about security. Of course, that's a major thing in the world that we live in today, and that's computer security. We'll talk about the legal and ethical issues of computing. So, you know, this number 2 is just chock full of a lot of information. All right. Now, on Thursday, I typically would have, you know, just did like maybe 15 minutes. I'll do 15 minutes on Tuesday, 15 minutes on Thursday. That's in my traditional classroom. But because we're online, I do want to sort of emphasize some things. And of course, it's being recorded for those who cannot attend live sessions. But for this semester, I would like to use Tuesdays as an instructional day. Okay, me walking you through how to use certain things, how to do certain things. And then on Thursday, you come with your questions, and, you know, Troy and I will help you out as far as solving those problems. Okay. thanks, Troy. Troy put in the chat. His office hours are on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8 to 9:30. Okay. Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so after the computing basics, we will delve into databases. Okay, and you know, databases are a really you know, complex thing, but it's necessary for you to know because they're so in our lives. Okay, so we're going to tackle the most difficult stuff first. Okay, um, with databases, and then we're going to talk about spreadsheets. Believe it or not, Microsoft 365 applications or Office applications are not the only applications. Okay, so Excel is not the only spreadsheet program. So we're going to, you know, get sort of familiar with different programs. Okay, so we'll cover databases, spreadsheets, presentations, which everyone likes PowerPoint, right? But there are other presentation software out there as well. And then the one that everyone, you know, has had some sort of experience with already, we'll be using Microsoft Word, but there are other word processing applications out there as well. Okay, and we will end the semester in the finish here area where you'll have a final project to complete. And then I also provide you with some information to use SimNet after the class. Now, SimNet is, and you'll learn this in the Start Here area, SimNet is the tool that we will use as our ebook. Okay, so a lot of different topics are in SimNet, but the really good thing about using SimNet is that you get to practice. Okay, so it's kind of like a practice area. Okay, so all these things that I just talked about, whether it's just computing basics, databases, spreadsheets, presentations, documents, you'll get to practice all of that using SimNet. Okay, and actually in the Start Here area, there is an instructional document that basically talks about familiarizing yourself with Blackboard, okay, how to get success. And then once we start using SimNet in number 2, you will get an introduction to SimNet. Okay, now let me go ahead and click on this one real briefly here. And it basically gives you an overview of what SimNet is all about. But these are actual links that will open up little short videos so that you can see SimNet at work. I highly recommend you go through each link that is provided, okay, and view each video. And if you have to, take some notes on that, okay? But basically, SimNet is integrated with Blackboard. And so all of your assignments in each folder are SimNet assignments, but they're on Blackboard. So the only thing you have to do is click on that, that folder, okay? And you'll see SimNet assignments. So this is your first SimNet assignment, Introduction to Computers, and it'll have SimBook, Introduction to Computers, just under it. Okay, so this lets you know that this is an assignment. And so I'll show you. There's another assignment, hardware, input and output. So we're going to go over a lot of different things. Mobile computing, system software, that's your operating system, Windows 10 operating system I was telling you about earlier. Application software, networking and information systems, the internet, security. Okay, so Number 2, practice computing basics is, a very meaty, sort of, just real full folder. Okay. So just know that. And you want to go through each instructional document ready to take notes. Okay. Are there any questions? Any questions?
Yes, I have a quick question.
Go ahead, Shay.
Everything you do on Sundays, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
Everything is
that's
due on
correct. At
Sunday.
11:59 p.m. on basically each Sunday, you have something due. Okay. And normally at Jefferson, um, we would have a 16-week semester. Okay. This semester is very short. So, and it's going to be compact. Okay. So
When does
basically,
it end?
the end date is September 3rd.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Great question. Yes, Casey?
Okay. So one question, can we work ahead?
Yes.
Yes.
You
Okay.
can.
Okay. I'm gonna try to do that to try not to
Mhm.
procrastinate. I'm gonna try to work 1 week ahead. I'm gonna really try to get that together.
That's a great mindset to have.
I'm trying. And then two, I know there's one more computer class after this. Do you know about that computer class?
Is it through the Urban League?
Yeah.
Okay. I believe that it is the hardware and software class. So what you're
Okay.
getting in here is just an intro. It's a start.
Okay.
In that class, it goes a lot more deeply into hardware and software.
Okay. Would you know how will we be able to sign up for that class if we wanted to
You
do
would
that?
have to go through Greg
Greg?
Trapure.
Okay.
And Carrie is covering for Greg for a couple of weeks.
Okay.
So, he would be your go-to person until Greg returns.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. All
Mhm.
righty.
Miss Sherry,
Yes, go ahead.
you had said that Troy's tutoring hours are 8 a.m. to 9:30. Did
No,
you mean?
8 p.m.
Yeah, that was my
to
question. Okay.
9:30 p.m.
Okay. Thank
on
you.
Tuesdays and Thursdays. Sure.
Yes, ma'am. I got that.
And
Thank you.
like I said, I'll do an announcement in the class. Um, Whenever I post announcements on Blackboard, you'll also get them in email. So don't take it like I'm just sending it to you. It's a entire class announcement. Okay. So everyone in your class will get the same announcement. And it's just something automatically that Blackboard does. And so I have no control over that. Okay, but you all have great questions, so thank you. Any other questions? Okay. Now from week to week, and I want to show you here. Um, from week to week, you will have messages that will come automatically from the Blackboard gradebook. Okay. Now, these messages are not from me, so I want to clear that up. But basically what it does is it looks at your grade book, and if we look here on the due dates, do you see the due dates listed there on the grade book? So it's going to announce to you when the due dates are and if anything is past due. So you're going to get those notifications. And it's an automatic thing. It happens to all Jefferson students, really all of KCTCS. Jefferson is just one of 16 of the community and technical colleges in the state. Okay. So probably 100,000 students are getting the same messages that you're going to get, especially if you don't, turn in stuff on time, you're going to get those messages. Now, even if you do you know, turn in stuff on time, you still might get some messages saying, okay, this is overdue. Okay. But if you know that you've completed the assignment and you have a grade for it on your grades in your grade book on Blackboard, then you're good to go. Okay. It's just going to keep sending those all semester. Okay. So just be prepared for that. And you can actually, let me get back to the class. In that first start here area, in that first document, I show you basically how to minimize the notifications, okay, from Blackboard. So I have mine set up now to just send me, like one daily. Because if I have multiple classes going, I'm getting those messages all the time. So if you click on that Read Me First document, there's going to be something in there about notifications. Okay. And if you click on the little notifications link, it's going to show you a video, a walkthrough of how you set up your own notifications. Okay. So down here, number 6, set your notification preferences. Okay, so when you click on the link, you can see that it's pointing to a YouTube video. Once you click on it, YouTube, it's going to populate a YouTube video, and it's going to be very short and sweet, a 30-second video. And how you can make the video, let me just stop it right now. But to make the video full screen, there's a little button in the bottom right hand corner of the video on YouTube, and it looks like 4 different brackets. And if you click on that, it'll just make the video cover the entire screen. Okay, so that's better for viewing. Then you can proceed to playing that video. Okay, so it's in the bottom right hand corner. All right. Any other questions before we close today? Anything? Sheree? Can't hear you. You have to.
I'm sorry, I have a little guest back here.
Oh, yeah, you're good.
Yeah. Well, I was wondering now when we do our assignments, it should be something to let us know that it's been sent to you automatically.
Yes. Well, on the assignments themselves, there's only one part of the assignment that you are required to complete, and that is the Let Me Try.
Okay.
When you click on the Let Me Try and you complete it, it will automatically give that little task a check mark. And each sim book has a set of, like, your first sim book is the Introduction to Computers, and so it has 6 tasks that you are to complete in there. Okay. Some may have 8, some may have 10. I think the internet is probably the largest one, and it has like 20. Okay. But you have 20 Let Me Tries to do, and they're on different topics. And so you're going to complete all of them. Once you complete all of them, and you have unlimited tries, in your sim book on the Let Me Tries, so you could practice it as much as you want. Okay. Any other questions? And I'm sure it'll become clear real soon. Not, don't panic. We'll get there. All right. So it's been wonderful talking to you guys. And if you have any questions, Troy and I will be on for just a little bit after the class today to answer your questions if you're bashful, don't want to speak. So just know that we're here for it. All right. All right. Well, if you're finished, there's a little red button that says leave, and you can go. You're free to go. Thank you. Take care.
So I just have a quick question.
Sure.
So is